If you've been watching the NFL for 10 years or more, then get ready because some of your favorite players' kids are about to take over the league. The next generation of Hall of Famers are going to begin being drafted this season, and with great names comes great expectations. Can they live up to the hype? Perhaps the most well-known last name in the NFL over the last quarter century is Manning. And while Arch Manning isn't the son of Peyton or Eli, he belongs on this list because he'll still carry that expectation because he's their nephew and he's been learning from them since he picked up a football. Named after his College Football Hall of Fame grandfather, he can't hide from what family he comes from and what position he was born to play. Coming out of high school, he was the 5th overall prospect in his class and the number 3 quarterback. He had his pick of any college in the country, and in the new world of NIL, he was the highest valued football player in the country before he ever set foot on a campus. This year, he'll suit up for the Texas Longhorns, but there's a chance he won't even be their starter because of incumbent quarterback Quinn Ewers. It's been declared an open competition, so this is the first step in Manning's career to living up to the name on the back of his jersey. I think Arch is likely living up to the hype in college at least. He has a cannon of an arm and far more athleticism than his uncles ever showed. In a Texas offense with Steve Sarkisian as the coach, I find it hard to believe he won't put up numbers whenever his time comes to be the starter. For his NFL prospects, because of the NFL's rule about draft eligibility, he won't be able to see where he gets drafted until 2026. But unless he just completely bombs in college and needs to transfer to find a starting job, then you can probably expect to see him in the first round, if not first overall. Manning is a great player regardless of last name, but I think that name will ensure his status up until he puts on an actual NFL jersey, at which point it's all up to him to perform. His uncle Peyton had a favorite target, and that target's son will see the NFL a few years sooner than Arch. Marvin Harrison Jr. would have been a first-round pick in the 2023 draft if he were eligible. Unfortunately, he has to return to Ohio State for one more season before he can pursue his big league dreams. His dad is a Hall of Famer and widely considered a top 3 wide receiver of all time. Along with Peyton Manning, he set numerous records, and his son carries his first and last name into a football career that to this point appears to be headed on a similar trajectory. Senior was drafted in the first round, and I think that's a lock for Junior unless a catastrophic injury were to occur. His film speaks for itself, and he could sit out this season to work out and just be fine. I doubt that happens, but what I'm trying to say is this kid is the real deal. Other than Arch, Marvin probably has the most pressure on him to reach great heights because of the caliber player his father was, but also because of the success that he's already seen on the football field. In this season alone, he had over 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns. That's nearly 100 yards and a touchdown per game. I know it's Ohio State, and they put up insane numbers regardless of who is out there, but they also produce high-level pro wide receivers consistently. Harrison should have no problem acclimating to the NFL quickly and could be a candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2024. I look forward to seeing what team he gets to go to. Could you imagine if he gets to receive passes from Arch Manning at some point in his career? So that's 2 family members that are following exactly in their family members' footsteps, playing the exact same position. But Shad Sanders is not only playing a different position, but is playing on the opposite side of the ball from his Hall of Fame father. Sanders will be the starting quarterback at Colorado this season after following his dad from Jackson State. At JSU, he proved to be a capable passer with solid athleticism and great leadership. He led their team to an undefeated regular season, blowing out several opponents. So the jump to the Pac-12 was necessary not only to follow his head coach father, but also for him to prove that he could do it against the highest level. Draft experts are currently split on if he should come out in 2024 or wait until 2025, but everyone agrees this season will decide a lot for him on that. His mechanics need some help, and he just hasn't proven he can play against other future pros consistently yet. If he can take this Colorado team that has won 9 games total in the last 3 years and help them become a winning program, then that alone will lift his status. You can bet Coach Prime will give him every opportunity to shine, and as a DB, he'll be able to coach him on what to look for from the defense so he knows where not to go with the ball. I think Shad has a bright future at Colorado, and when his college career is over, he has a great chance of being a day 2 draft pick. I don't see him jumping into the upper echelon of prospects unless he just blows people away with his development. It's happened before though, where players come from out of nowhere to impress scouts and fly up boards, so it could happen here. Look at Joey Porter Jr. for this kind of example. Porter is the son of Steelers legend Joey Porter Sr. He was considered the top press man corner in the NFL draft and was taken 32nd overall by the Pittsburgh Steelers, where his dad played most of his career. Senior played 13 seasons in the NFL and racked up nearly 100 sacks. What would it take for Junior to have matched that level of success at his position? He's going to be a day 1 starter with his talent and the draft capital invested in him, so that's a great place to begin. As a corner, I feel like the greatest stat is often longevity and availability. If he can stay healthy and play well enough to stay in the league for 10 plus years, then no doubt it's been a successful career. He'll need to grab some interceptions and pass breakups along the way, and it wouldn't hurt if he makes some Pro Bowls and wins a Super Bowl like his dad either. I think Joey Porter Jr. went to the perfect situation for him to thrive, with a great coach and defense around him and a system that will allow him to play the way he plays best. If he were going to be successful, this is where he needed to be. While Joey Porter Sr. was a great player, it's not like he holds records in the league that his son has to live up to. EJ Smith can't say the same thing. EJ plays the same position as his Hall of Fame father, but Hall of Fame wasn't enough as Emmitt Smith is the all-time leader in rushing yards in the NFL. EJ will be returning for his senior season at Stanford University to not only finish a degree, but to hopefully improve his draft stock. If he were to come out this year, he likely would have been a 7th round pick or gone undrafted. The great thing about the running back position, though, is that late round and undrafted guys have successful careers all the time. Sure, his dad was a 1st round pick, but the league doesn't value that position the way it did in the 90s. EJ has had a good college career to this point, making it on the Doak Walker Award watch list and putting up good yards per carry numbers. He doesn't have great yardage numbers due to the season-ending injury he suffered after just 2 games played last season. He's ready to come back and show what he has, and I'm excited to see how similar he can be to his dad. The draft experts will be watching. For all the advantages that come with having NFL pedigree and a former star player helping you develop your game, it has to be a lot of pressure trying to write your own story and get out from underneath their shadow. For each of these players, and the many who came before and will come after, you just have to hope that they reach their potential and enjoy the ride.